Hey Fly Tyers, welcome back. My name is Matt, and thank you for stopping by the channel. And if you're new here and you want to learn some cool fly tying tips and tricks and patterns, then subscribe. Click the bell so you don't miss anything. Now I've got a pretty cool pattern for you today. This is number 32 in the Great Smoky Mountain series. This one is called the Cataloochee Copperhead. Now it was created by Kirk Jenkins, another old-timey mountain fly tyer from the 40s and 50s. Couldn't find a whole lot of information about Kirk other than he grew up in Cott County, the moonshine capital of the world. Fished a lot in the Cataloochee area. The Cataloochee area of the park, Cataloochee Creek and all its tributaries, is considered one of the most remote areas in the Great Smoky Mountain Park. Now one other thing I did learn, Kirk Jenkins was a contemporary of Eddie George and tied a bit commercially in the 40s and 50s for a company called Weber. So this one, the Cataloochee Copperhead, it's kind of a quill type pattern, and he also called it the Honey Quill, but with the copperhead type colors on it, he eventually gave it the name the Cataloochee Copperhead. And that's what caught my attention about the fly. This is a pretty cool name, and it's a pretty cool fly. I think you're gonna like it. Let's give it a shot. There it is, the Cataloochee Copperhead. I'm going to be tying this on a size 12. It's a standard length barbless dry fly hook. And I am using black thread. This is a 70 denier. You could go thinner with this, would be fine. So I'll put a little base down, about the first third of it, then take my thread back up to where I'm going to post these wings. Now the wings of this, I'm using a light ginger. Because the hackle is going to be a little bit darker of a ginger. So I've got a light ginger here, and you don't have to do this part, but I went ahead and stripped, you see the bare stems there? I stripped that, so it might make it a little bit cleaner when you stand them upright. It doesn't always, but gives you a better chance at making them cleaner. So if you catch it in on the bare stem, good 2 or 3 wraps right there. Go ahead and snip this excess off right here. Now let's stand them up. And we want them to be a little bit longer than our hackle, so that's going to be a good length right there. So let's pull them up. See, I'm trying not to get any of those fibers going forward. I'm trying to get right up under them and prop this thing up perpendicular. So it's pretty close to perpendicular, but we've still got a little bit of work to do. So we'll put a couple of figure 8s, X-wraps, whatever you want to call them, in between here, behind the front one, and in front of the other one. And let's see, just gotta be careful. It's easy to mess these up. Okay, so there's one X-wrap, and I've got them apart pretty well. Let's see if we can get one more in here without messing them up too bad. I think that's going to be fine right there. We've got some good separation, and they're still, for the most part, sticking upright. So let's go ahead and take our thread back to the bend of the hook. We're going to tie in our tail. Okay, and the tail is just some stiff rooster ginger colored hackle fibers, a good sized clump of them. I think this is probably 15 or so. We'll take a couple of wraps there and check our length. I think that's a good length, about a body length. It's a kind of a Catskill style dry fly. Let's get in here and snip this excess off. I'm gonna try to cut it at a little bit of an angle, which might have done all right there. So let's just bury this in and try to keep this underbody smooth, because we're putting a quill body on it, and any big lumps will show when we wrap this quill. So I'm gonna throw a few extra wraps right here just to try to even this body out. Okay, I think that's going to be close enough. So for the body, it is just, this is the leftover hackle from the fly I just did. I stripped off the rest of the fibers from it. So however you like to do quill bodies, it can be a rooster hackle, it can be a hen hackle, it can be your cheap feathers too, because you're just taking the fibers off. You're just pulling them off and leaving the stem, and that's what we're going to wrap up it. So you can either cut off, I've got a little piece of the stem on my side right here, but I'm just going to bury that in and take my thread up here to where I'm going to stop with the body. And that's where the thread is right now, is going to be the front of the body and where I start my hackle. So just take your time and wrap this stem, this quill here, touch and turns all the way up. Okay, now when you've got your body wrapped all the way to the front, go ahead and catch off this stem with a couple of 2 or 3 tight wraps, and then snip off this excess. Now here's something I like to do. You don't have to, but I think it makes it look a little bit cooler and certainly makes it a little more durable. I will put a drop of my UV resin just right here. Let's make sure we don't get it on these wings. So 1 drop right here, and then just smooth it out. Take your bodkin, move it up and down, and then all the way around. Now put your UV light on it for 10 or 15 seconds. And now you've got a nice hard quill body. Next component we're going to put on it is some brown or ginger dry fly hackle. You know, size to match the hook. This is a size 12, so I got some pretty long fibers on this piece right here. 2 or 3 good wraps behind it. I'm going to go ahead and take a couple in front of it just to get it really locked in. And snip off this butt end. Now let's wrap this hackle. You can, if your upright wings start going all askew on you, you can sometimes use this hackle to help realign them. I'm going to put about probably 3 turns behind it, and then 3 or 4 in front if I can get that. So I'm starting to push my wings forward just a little bit, but see, that's okay because this first wrap in front of them should push them back just a little. Okay, I think that was 3 wraps in the front. Let's go ahead and catch this off with a couple of turns right here. I'm gonna have a little bit of cleanup. Some of my fibers are sticking forward, so I'm gonna go ahead and just pull these back a little bit and take a few turns on it before I snip this excess. So ramping this back up a little bit. Don't go too far back. Maybe an eye width, and not. Okay, now we've got enough room to do our whip finish here. We've got 1 crazy fiber going forward, but we can handle that with the scissors. So just right behind the eye, maybe a 4-turn whip finish here. Get rid of our thread. Let's take care of this row guy right here. And now we've got this last excess right here. And what you can do, if this isn't enough feather that I just trimmed, my excess here, just strip it off and use it for the quill body for your next one. So now's the time, if you got any cleanup to do, just stack these fibers out if you need. But there you go, the Cataloochee Copperhead. Pretty cool pattern, pretty fun to tie. Fishes like almost any mayfly, catskill style pattern. So that's it, folks. I really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.